Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, and here is a blast from the past. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Talking Habs, Saturday Hockey Talk Live, where we talk about anything and everything Habs, hockey, and life with your host, Rick Selly. Go Habs, go, and let's talk hockey. The road to the 25th Cup is under construction. Geez, I haven't played that in a long time. All right, we got a special guest tonight. There's nothing special about him. It's Pete the Fist. There is a lot special about Pete. Welcome in, Pete.
Hey, folks. How you doing?
It's a little different. I haven't played that in like a long time. It's been up there. I kept it, and I haven't played it, and I thought, tonight's a good night. All right, so it's Saturday Hockey Talk. Not much happening in the world of Montreal Canadiens anyway. I don't think much happening in the NHL really that much, except Erik Karlsson. They're trying to trade Erik Karlsson. Can you believe the Leafs, who don't have enough to pay Samsonov if he wins his arbitration case, are after Erik Karlsson?
I am very, very puzzled as to where the Leafs are getting the money from.
That's why I did my song. Did you see the song?
No, I haven't. I forgot to mention
it's been out a few days.
all day. So.
It's been out a few days. You have no excuse. No, I'm just joking, but it's about the Leafs. It's called OMG. It's after the Beatles, Let It Be, and it's about the Leafs and the crazy shit they're doing. So that's And you can't believe I did a Beatles song and I didn't get a claim for it. They didn't say, hey, we want. I think it's made 40 cents. We want 20 cents of that 40 cents.
They probably aren't alive anymore. So
no, it's the record label. Come on, or the printing the music company. No, you know why though? I think because I sang it so badly and I couldn't get this song at all, and I'm a bad singer anyway. I sped it up to 1.25 times the speed. I think that changed it enough so that it's not copyright claim available or whatever.
Yeah, what? How's that go again? And like you only got to change a little bit or something like that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I guess I changed it, and now I know. Next time, just speed it up. All right. So we're here. We're gonna talk about whatever, and let's see who's here, and we'll go from there.
I'm here.
All right. What was that?
I'm here and I'm there.
Yeah, I could have a few screens. I could be all over the place, but you know, I'm here most of the time, not all the time. I don't know where I was going with that. David, hey David, and look, Peterson. Oh, I get you. You're there and you're there. I'm too confused. Help, Zachary. Hey Zachary. My Toronto Maple Leafs poem wasn't good. I did not expect Leafs fans to really enjoy it. It wasn't put out with the intent for Leafs fans to enjoy it. It was also put out as satire and pretty much said it. So, you know, but I didn't expect Leafs fans to enjoy me saying that Brendan Shani is batshit crazy. I didn't expect that you'd like that. It's true, but I didn't expect that you'd like it. All right.
Shanahan has lost his mind.
I don't want to get sued by Brendan Shanahan. I was just joking. Sort of. Hey, Guru, how you doing, man? Spent the week camping at Carp Lake. Awesome. Yeah, right. You can't work, right? Missed the Wednesday night show. No worries. Yeah, you do that. I appreciate that. I forget what happened on Wednesday. I hope it was a good show. Okay, you wrote that twice. Look at that. That was such a good comment. You put it in twice. Hey, Justin, how you doing, man? How's the kid? It just sounded weird when I said it. Lucas, hey, Lucas. How's it going, buddy? Renegade Man, what's up? Just my nipples in a cold wind. Hey, Joe from Down Under, how's it going? Awesome. So, we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I literally don't have anything. I was out all day. There's no news anyway. We can talk about the video I just put out about the contracts. I know, you know what? I missed one in my worst contracts. Actually, I missed two, but if anybody saw the video, did you see it by chance, Pete? No, because you were out.
No, I've been super busy.
So I did best contracts, but I had the worst. So best and worst contracts going into this season. So the two I missed, and one I'm not 100% sure. And the reason I left the other one out, which was Carey Price, is because Carey Price's career is done. I don't expect him to come back to play. So therefore, his contract is sort of doesn't matter anymore because it goes on the LTIR and it doesn't, right? So I didn't put that anymore. I mean, otherwise he would have had that in there. The other one was I saw somebody else wrote an article about the worst contracts, and he put Jake Allen's in there. And I thought, I mean, I guess you can make an argument for $3.85 million that it's a bad contract, but is it really a bad contract?
For a decent backup goaltender?
Right. And when it was signed, he was expected kind of to be maybe the starting goaltender. And that's not bad money. And I don't think he shit the bed or anything. So I thought, you know, you can make an argument, I guess, for it, but I didn't really agree.
No. It's a little bit rich, but it's not overly compensating him. It's a decent contract for what you're getting. I mean,
if he ends up being your starter, $3.85 million is not bad. And who would have thought Sam Montembeault was gonna have the year? Like, he had a pretty good year.
He did,
you know,
and he's only going to get better. So,
yeah. I guess maybe if you say that, okay, Monty's going to be the starter, then Allen's going to be the backup. Maybe then you could say, but like you said, it's not a horrible contract for an experienced backup like that. I mean, it's not like
you watch come trade deadline time. You know,
somebody's
going to come up knocking on the door and say, "Hey, we need a good backup. We're willing to pay."
And I think if Jacob Dobish is doing really well down with the Rocket. Or we'll say, or Caden Primo. If one of those guys is really like having a great season and it's trade deadline time, I think that you make that move, right? You make the move, you trade Allen, you go with you go with youth all the way around.
Always.
Yeah, I think that's the
way to do it. Allen's probably what the elder statesman on the team now, no?
Well, Hoffman's up there too. Hoffman and Allen, I think, are the oldest. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they are. 33. They're both 33, I think. Or 34 this season. So
I could have swore Allen was 34. Okay. My bad.
Well, I think he either just turned, like, he's 34 or he's 33. I'm not sure which this year, but Hoffman is the same thing.
Yeah.
Justin, kid, it's good that they cry, because if they don't, it's rare kids don't cry. But I told you, you're not going to sleep again for 18 years.
My twins never cried.
No? Well, they were twins. They were together.
No, separate cribs. We put it in separate cribs.
But they were still, they felt.
Yeah, they were in the same room and everything. But yeah, we used to get full 8 hours sleep at night. The trick is. The big trick is to swaddle them nice and tight. Then they feel like they're still in the womb.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And don't put them on their stomachs.
No.
They don't do that anymore.
No.
How did this turn into like
you started it?
Daddy daycare. Now we're daddy daycare.
Oh shit. No, I'm not going back there, man. I did my 18 years of punishment. I'm done.
Nope. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Yes, move on. Michkov has too many red flags. There's nothing wrong with a big talented defenseman. Most Stanley Cup winners had one. It's actually funny. I forgot that was the subject of this. I didn't know what to talk about. People are still talking about, well, this is why. I don't know if it's such a big news, but apparently the reasons come out why Montreal passed on Michkov. And it is basically attitude and things of that nature. That is the reason why they kind of I don't know if they fully bought into the reports coming out of Russia that way or whatever. Then if you guys know who Lego Rocks is, so he put out a video yesterday that I don't know exactly when, in the last couple of days. I watched it yesterday, and I thought, I don't know, that's flimsy, because he's saying that maybe like they're thinking that the Russian team put out these bad things about Michkov because they want him to stay there. Now, if that ever happened before, I don't think so. And why would they do that?
They wouldn't.
Like, why? And why would they do that?
Why would they slander somebody? I mean, come on.
It doesn't make sense. You want to slander your guy that you want to star for you now for the next whatever, but you're going to slander him everywhere. And that makes sense. That's like arbitration, isn't it? That's what arbitration is. That's why players hate it.
And can you imagine the shit the shitstorm that would follow with that?
I got to think that it's like I said. I've said it a few times in the videos that Kent Hughes had said. I saw him in a press conference say exactly this: that doesn't matter how talented you are, you got to check the boxes, or we're not picking you. And I got to think that for them, Michkov did not check the boxes, and Reinbacher checked every box and then some.
What it also comes down to, Rick, is the player that you're interviewing. Like it's a healthy interview process that these guys go through. So, if he doesn't answer questions properly on their checklist as they're going through, I mean, from what I've seen and what I read on Michkov, he's a complete individual hockey player. He's very, very great individually.
Right.
Does that transfer into the locker room as an individual? Yes, that is confirmed. He is an individual in the locker room. He is not team rah, 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 let's go.
And what are the Habs?
I need to pump my stats. You guys need to help me pump my stats.
I mean, that's kind of what the rumor is, right? And listen, it's been said by, I've heard a few players already in the offseason, and I think from Marty St. Louis and stuff, it's basically a 5-man unit out there. Everybody plays off of each other. Like it's a unit out there. And the scout, it was George Larac was in an airport, saw one of the scouts, and went up and said, "Why didn't you pick Michkov?" And the guy said, one of the things he said is, with what we're trying to do, one bad apple in the locker room ruins everything.
Right.
So they felt he was a bad apple.
Marty St. Louis is playing, I don't want to use the word scheme. He's playing, and I don't want to use the word system, but he's playing in a way that defensemen can rotate in the system and come around and take over in a forward position. But now that forward is going to come out and play a defensive role,
unit.
Right?
It's a 5-man unit.
It's a wave. And what they want to do is they want to create that wave of constant pressure in offense. And, if the puck comes out, then everybody's got to be able to retreat.
It doesn't lead to one guy hot dogging it, which is basically what they're saying.
That's why Hoffman doesn't fit, right? That's why Armia doesn't fit.
But that's that's what it's about.
Like, what do you call what St. Louis is doing? I mean, it's like I said, it's not a concept, it's not a system, it's a.
But in and of itself, it is a concept. As much as it's not a concept, it is a concept. In this way, though, it's just a new concept of not necessarily having everybody have to play under that system. The thing that I find curious, if you've got, 3 talented guys, say the number one line, these guys are going to be allowed to create and stuff. So, like, how does everybody anticipate that as a unit? That's what I find interesting, how they go about that. Right? Because which guys do play under a bit more of a system than the rest, right?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing to pull off, and
I'm kind of on the down low. I am kind of excited to see what transpires within the first 15, 25 games of the new season. I'm interested to see what changes are going to happen after the 25 games, because I've yet to hear what's going on with coaching staff.
No changes.
Yeah.
No
and
changes.
you know how I feel about the ex-Canuck.
I do, but you know what? We talked about it during the season that it might just be that literally no power play quarterback, and they don't have all the right horses in place. And I believe that that's what they feel. That's what the decisions come down to. Apparently, Marty St. Louis very pleased with. I never get his freaking name, but very pleased with him.
Burrows.
Very pleased with
Alexander
Alex
Burrows.
Apparently, very pleased with all the coaching staff. He does not want to make changes.
Because out here in the West Coast, they're saying, "Oh, it's because he's French. Got to have a French guy on the team. Got to have a French coach on the team somewhere."
But isn't Alex Burrows is French?
Yeah, and that's why Montreal's keeping a French coach.
I don't think Marty St. Louis plays that game.
I hope not.
I don't think he plays it to that extent.
Forced to swallow that.
Does anything that this management has done really make you think that that's what they're doing? Nothing that I.
No, I haven't seen that, but you know, it's just, shit can go sideways sometimes.
Well, it can. I get that, but it seems to me like Habs management group, coaching staff, all that, they're all on the same page. I don't, and it's not like it's some tyrant up on top running the show and making everybody fall in line. It doesn't seem like that. And then the players, when they're interviewed, love it. They love it here. They love the coaching staff. They love the management, and they love the direction the Habs are going in. I don't know. That to me is, I'm buying into that. All right, let's see what people are saying.
I want to know what the hell Matt's saying. Oh boy,
who?
Guess who's loading in?
Oh, well, I'm a little far. I'm a little behind. That's why I'm going to get through some of these here. Kent Hughes needs to be fired because he didn't draft Michkov or Leonard, traded for those valuable picks. Newhoff, sky's falling. Renegade, I was reading that going, no, this got to be Renegade.
Got me a little heated there, Renegade man.
Yeah, he says he's joking, which is, yet the surprise of that is there's a lot of people that literally do feel that way. It's what? We're 3 weeks past the draft? Yeah, we're 3 weeks past the draft, a little over. These people who feel that way have had that much time to go and research this kid.
Nobody's going to research him. Come on.
And that's true because I did a Reinbacher video figuring, okay, it's going to do well. No, it hasn't even hit like 600 views. Like that's not good. So people are not interested to find out about him either. I don't get it.
It puzzles me because what did I say when we drafted him? Right? I was just like, okay, yeah. I don't remember exactly what I said.
We weren't happy for about 5 minutes.
Happy
for 5 minutes.
But then as soon as we started looking it up and started researching the kid right away, like a good hockey mind will start looking, okay, what is it that they see about, person A or person B? And we started right away, right? And we discovered, okay, this kid's got some skill here. He's got that. He's got this. All what do they call that? The tangibles. Everything was there.
He's got everything that they need. Quite literally.
And we got a lot of defensemen down in the minors and whatnot,
but we don't have this guy. We don't have one like this.
We don't have this.
We don't have what this guy does. We do not have that. And you know what? I think the only way you get that in a defenseman is you got to draft him because who's giving up a D that if he hits the way he's supposed to, who's giving that up?
No. Nobody.
The only way maybe you sign him as a UFA or you draft him. The only way you get a guy like that.
I don't know if everybody out there has the ability to just step back and look at the overall huge picture. But you start looking at this defense for the future, holy shit, man. Like, it's got me fired up. I mean, we've got the Cale Makars. We've got, the Ray Bork-esque type players. We've got the We got everything you need to sustain a long, positive outlook moving forward for our games and for seasons.
And look at the core. Look at the age of this core.
They're all in
within a few years. That means this group, if they pick the right guys, they are going to go forward for like 10 years. 10 years, you got a contender.
I mean, everybody out there wants a cup now. We want one cup. I don't want one cup. I want to add to the 24. I want another 10 on there.
Well, yeah, I'll start with 25 and go from there. But yeah,
I want another 10 cups.
Yeah,
I want a legacy. For that. I want us to have multiple steps.
Hang on, Matt. I don't know how to get you in there. I got to change the background. Just hang on. I'm trying to see if I've got one.
Got rid of me.
No, Matt's here.
I'm more handsome anyway, Pete.
Matt got rid of Pete. Hang on, Pete. I'm just gonna go back to this. That's funny. Hey, Pete. Hey.
I'm not a bottom guy.
Hey.
I
like it in the bottom.
Pete, you're a bottom last night. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look at that. Two guys on my bottom.
All right. You got to switch the two of us around.
Why?
Because if we're going to have a traditional Oreo cookie, it can't be brown, white, white. It's got to be white, brown, white.
No, I'm the bottom, so you guys got to be on top. So sorry, it's the way I roll, man.
Just switch
I roll on the bottom, man.
Oh, you're going to get it on the bottom, all right.
Only Matt can do it.
I'll have you.
I'm gonna have to lock him out of that.
Like that movie. What was it with Burt Reynolds?
It was Squeal Like a Pig. Deliverance.
Deliverance. Squeal like a pig.
Yeah. I saw that. I think I was maybe 13 or 14. I saw it on CTV back in the day. It's like I can't believe I saw this movie. It was like a midnight movie there. I couldn't believe I was watching this and it's on TV. It's like, wow, Canada's great. You couldn't get that in the US.
Bar Drive-In in Quesnel.
Oh yeah, I saw it on TV. They showed quite a bit on TV on CTV.
Oh yeah,
I gotta tell you, surprise that living hell out of me.
CTV, no hold barred, man.
I think that's the first time I ever saw.
What's up, Habs Guru?
I think that's the first time I ever saw any homosexual act in any way portrayed in front of me. I think that's the first time. I was 13 or 14. I didn't know. Did we know what that was really back then? We said the words like as an insult. We didn't really understand what was going on though.
No.
Later. Anyways, yeah. Don't know how it got on. Okay, let's get back to these people here a little bit. So there's some people here that are watching us, and we're ignoring them. Oh, look, Matt's here. Look at that. Go back to Larac there for a second. Larac believes the Habs made a mistake and played it safe with Reinbacher. The Habs have Caulfield, which is a big point, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't think that's the reason why, though. I don't think that's the reason why they passed on him, though.
No, I think the reason, I think it's his tendency to play more selfish. I don't think that's the way that we want to play our game.
I think that's
a player like that. The team's not going to gel. They're more not going to be able to build chemistry.
No, but there's more to it, and maybe that's what the coach meant by one bad apple But I don't know that when you say one bad apple screws up everything we're doing. To me, that means they think his attitude is bad. But if it could be just being selfish. That could be the bad apple thing.
That's what I mean, right?
Yeah, because
if he's not passing the puck around, if he's not getting guys involved, everyone's going to get pissed off.
And
they're not going to want to play with them, and then you get a whole other friggin' problem in the locker room.
Yeah, 100%. No, but I don't know which it is, right? It's because it's not 100% confirmed that the kid's got an attitude problem or not. Nothing's confirmed that way. It's still a rumor.
No, I'm basing it off of the footage that I've seen of his play in the KHL. I mean,
he's a hot dog. I mean, there's no doubt. But I mean, listen, Pavel Bure was a hot dog.
He doesn't have a 200-foot game. He's strictly offense. He doesn't come back.
He doesn't. He doesn't have.
Well, I've seen him. I've seen him kind of come back, but he hangs out in between the red and the blue.
He's a cherry picker.
Really.
Yeah, he's waiting for that breakout pass so he can go get the points.
Didn't we call that a cherry picker? Guy who hung out at the blue line or at the red line waiting for that. Yep. That's a cherry picker. That's what he seems. And listen, all the talent in the world. And if that's the only problem, it doesn't fit here in Montreal with what they're doing. It doesn't fit.
No.
So you want to get a guy that is going to be great talent, but that great talent, if it doesn't mesh with everything else, will be actually detrimental.
We've a couple of times this past season, we've watched Hoffman kind of hanging out at the top blue line, right? And we've seen Dingeldorf, who is no longer a part of our team. Thank you. What did he do? He always hung out at the top of the blue line, right? In between the red line and the blue line. It doesn't fit the perspective of what St. Louis is trying to get everybody to play. You know,
right. I mean,
it doesn't work.
Cole Caulfield doesn't even do that, right?
No.
I was just gonna say, even Cole Caulfield, who's 5'0", 100 nothing, to quote one of my all-time favorite movies, he still gets back and tries.
And he makes some good plays every now and then. Cole Caulfield surprised the hell out of you.
Hey, the little shit hits people too. Like
because he's strong. He's strong.
He's a tough little kid, but you watch when he hits, he comes down low and he drives up into the body. That's what he's got to do.
Uses his legs. He uses his legs. Did you
call
hear
him Mighty
rumor?
Mouse?
Did you hear the rumor that he's dating Ariana Grande?
Really?
I saw that on Twitter, and it was reported.
I haven't heard about that.
It's reported by TMZ.
He's dating Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. You know that Pete Davidson was dating her. You know the with the ponytail.
Yeah, no, I call her Ariana.
But she's got to be a good 10 years older than him. No, I don't know how old she is.
She's got to be in her 30s.
Right, early 30s, 30, 31, 32. He's only 22.
He's gonna get experience.
Listen, all the best to him. But I wish it was a French girl. That's all. Get him cemented here in Quebec. Like Gally's marrying a French girl this off season.
You know what I like? I saw this on Twitter the other day. Kind of got me all warm and giddy inside. Georges Larac is out there, and he's teaching Pizzetta.
Yeah, I saw it.
And he's also working with a couple of other people on how to go and how to sustain and just get through the battle.
Did you see the funny video someone made of it though?
No.
Someone made.
I did see. I think Junkie shared it on Twitter. I saw it. Yeah,
from Junkie, I think.
Yeah.
That it was pretty funny. So yeah, I guess
Georges
doing something. He's doing something.
Send me the link to that because I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, imagine. Well, it's on Junkie's.
I need to start following Junkie then too. But no, I love that. I mean, like
I thought of you, Pete, when I saw it.
We've got Chris who's been out there teaching Jacques. Don't lunge in, don't go face first because somebody's going to clock you in the face and knock your melon off your head. He's like, go into it so that you got your arm ready to grab.
Use your reach
so you can block that.
Yeah.
So they're learning from all these ex-Habs and all that wealth of talent that we have in the past.
Remember, Bergevin didn't want these guys hanging around,
right? So now it's happening, and look at it's paying dividends to have these guys.
It does. It does pay dividends to have these great players hanging around.
And like speaking of that too, I've heard that Price might stick around to coach the goaltenders, or like at least help them out a little bit too.
First of all, I don't know that he can. Why? Because he's not retired yet, and he's not retiring.
Once the contract,
still be on the team, Rick, and he can still coach.
I mean, like when the contract runs out. Like from what I've heard, his plan is to kind of be like a goaltending coach.
Remember when the draft?
I mentioned that to Rick the other day.
Remember at the draft? Remember at the draft who announced the first pick? Carey Price. That's got to be a sign to say that Carey is going to stick around with the team and be involved, and he's not just going to BC. We're never going to hear from him again. It's not. So
Boys, at the end of the day, we need Riker to stick around. We need him to stick around and
if he wants
help guide these kids.
But listen, it's traditional pretty much up until Bergevin got here that the alumni did these kind of things.
Yeah.
So
and Bergevin didn't like it because the alumni took away from took the spotlight away from Bergevin, right? So,
or maybe he didn't like their opinions. I don't know how to put it properly, but yeah, he didn't want that outside influence for his job to say, you're not doing this, you got to do it this, you should do this. He didn't want that shit.
You don't think Jeff was overwatching all of this and seeing that, hey, some of these guys have some great wisdom that they're impacting upon our players? That would have gotten Bergevin fired so much sooner.
I get it, but I think Jeff Molson was a little enthralled with Marc Bergevin. Like Marc Bergevin somehow, and I'm not trying to put him down or anything. It's not. I'm not a Bergevin hater. I wasn't ever, and I'm not changing. But like he had some kind of, he's able to spin that web around Molson, and he bought in until he didn't anymore because he saw that it was going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
I don't hate Bergevin. I don't love Bergevin.
Yeah, I don't love him now either, but I don't hate him. I mean,
I don't hate him, but
he is who he is.
I don't understand how he can do some of the brilliant things that he did, and then right away turn around and just be like a dead fish flopping around on the banks of the river as you're fishing. Like it just didn't make sense. He made some incredible picks, like bringing in Jacky and bringing in some of the other players that we've had brought in by him, and then he goes and shits the bed on other players. And
everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Not everybody's great like Sam Pollock. I don't know what else to say. Speaking of which, did you see what the Leafs just did? They brought in a defensive guy that has Van Ryn. He's got a horrible record. They're going to get worse defense.
Didn't they bring in Pierre Boucher too?
Yeah. Keith got a new staff, 3 new. But Boucher's one of them. Yeah, but yeah, I'm just because I was worried this upcoming season that maybe they're going to do something and they're going to turn it around somehow. They're on that. Maybe they could do that, and then they went and just shit the bed everywhere in my opinion. Anyways.
I mean, to me, the only guy that they brought in that I could see like actually helping the team out a little bit is probably Tyler Bertuzzi. But like with Reeves, all he's gonna do is fight when Matthews decides to start something and skate away like a pea.
Which is why he's there, right?
But that's it.
Matthews. I mean,
he's slower than than Rick walking across the street, for Christ's sake. Yeah. Like everyone can skate. No offense. Rick. But everyone can skate around him. Like it's not like he's gonna do anything hockey wise. They brought him in to beat the crap out of people.
But he's got old man power now. That's the thing that I'm fearful for Jacky. He's got that old man strength, and all it's gonna take is one shitty shot, and we lose Jacky. We need some other guys to step up.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Reeves is probably gonna play 8 to 10 minutes a game if he's fucking lucky. How hard is it to keep Jacky off the ice while he's out there? Not hard. There's no way Ryan Reeves plays more than 10 minutes on any game. And I hope he does. I hope they do that.
In that 10 minutes, he's going to be put on the first line. As soon as we put our first line out there, he's going to be put out there. Go crush Caulfield.
Fine, our first line is going to skate. Our first line will skate right around him.
I don't know, boys. I'm a little bit concerned with the Ryan Reeves thing. You mark my words.
No, I get it. I don't totally disagree with you.
I'm gonna say this though.
I'm not as concerned, I guess.
From what I don't know where I get this from, but I believe he kind of believes in that code. I don't think he's going after Caulfield like that. He knows. No,
he's gonna dish out clean, beautiful hits. If you got your head down, he's going to punish you. And some of our guys tend to have their head down.
Caulfield's going to be aware.
6'4", our first round pick of last year, 6'4", has his head down. If Reeves lines him up, we're going to lose Slafkovsky for a good long time because Reeves is solid.
We're only playing them 3 times. I'm not that worried about it. I'm not about Ryan Reeves. He's not playing enough to really be worrisome. And listen, you know what? That rivalry between Toronto and Montreal is kind of important. And you're really going to put Reeves out there to make you lose the game because of penalties or whatever, or because he can't play and keep up. I don't think so in a Montreal.
It's a move that doesn't make sense to me, but at the same time, it does make sense because they're trying to toughen up and make the team play bigger. Hopefully, it backfires.
You think You think they can think that far ahead? I mean, it's Brad Treliving.
It's Treliving.
Yeah, he's made some bad moves.
He
should be called bad.
But he's also made
should be bad Treliving.
He's also made some pretty good moves in his past. I mean, lately, no.
Not here.
Not here.
I mean, going to arbitration with Samsonov?
Holy hell. That gap between the valuations, I was like, holy Jesus, what the hell?
All they have is $3 million. So if it comes down to a $3 million contract, and they can't walk away unless it's $4.5 million or more.
Right.
So are you kidding me? Like, why would you go to arbitration with this guy when you have no money?
And your other 2 goalies are Matt Murray
and you got no goalie.
It's Matt Murray and Joseph Wall. And Joseph Wall is a great goaltender. He was phenomenal at Boston College. He's a great goaltender.
He's young, though.
If you go into the season where he's your starter, because I don't think Matt Murray can start anymore at all.
No.
You're kind of in trouble because if something happens to Joseph Wall, you essentially have a ghost in the net.
They need
essentially the invisible goalkeeper.
They got to be
with Matt Murray. You're going to get about 20 to 28 games out of Matt Murray.
I think you're optimistic. Not in a row.
Not in a row.
I think what I mean is he won't be in a rotation where he is 28 times. He's in the rotation.
No.
That ain't happening.
The whole bloody season, you're looking at getting maybe 20 to 28 out of the whole season.
28's optimistic. What did he play last year? I don't even know. Look at we're a Habs channel and aren't we enjoying this, Lise? I'm loving it. You know what? I'm really happy is that this is like, it's like for a comedian, like a night talk show host there when Trump got elected, it was like, wow, it just writes itself. And that's what the Leafs are. It just writes itself, the shit that they do. That I just shake my head. That's why I did that video. It was OMG. I can't believe the stuff that they're doing.
Not only that, they still haven't extended Austin Matthews. They still haven't extended Nylander.
Nope.
I mean, at least Matthews, you would have thought would have been done. Like that would have been priority number 1. Like if I'm a Leafs fan, that would have been my priority number 1.
Nylander's not going to happen, Matt. Not going to happen.
No,
it can't happen. I heard he's demanding like 10 million. Yeah,
$10.5 million. And then Habs fans that I read are saying we ought to get Nylander. Are you what? That we're going to pay him that? Are you kidding me? What? I don't understand people.
We don't have time for somebody like I need somebody that's going to go into the boards and fight for the puck. Nylander's not going to do that.
No, he doesn't. He backs off.
I have seen him literally skate away from that when he sees
the goal. He backs off.
Like physical contact. Ew, no.
I pointed it out during the games.
He skates in there and goes, "Oh no, I was looking over here. No, I was looking over here."
Oh, puck battle? Nah, not for me.
Yeah. I'll take my time getting there.
Nylander's a bitch, and I do not want him anywhere near my team.
Yeah, me neither. So I don't know why people would want to get him here in Montreal. Ooh. I know we have paid no attention to the chat. We apologize. Yeah, we're having a good conversation.
Get back to the chat.
We're having a good conversation, but we should get back. David says 6 assistant coaches were signed. Habs could have ground a power play specialist to replace Burrows. Or found, I think he means. Just because an assistant coach is signed doesn't mean he won't be let go. They don't make enough money to make that a problem.
No.
From what I understand, I believe, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I heard Marty say this, that he's very happy with everybody on the staff.
And going back to the Boucher thing, the only thing I think they brought in Boucher for
to replace Keefe.
Keefe fucks up, or pardon my language, if Keefe messes up, off you go, Boucher takes over.
Yeah, because they didn't.
I don't know how
Sheldon
Keefe didn't go with friggin' Dubas.
Can you believe they didn't fire Sheldon Keefe? They were going to fire Sheldon Keefe before Dubas thing happened. They were firing him.
Yep.
And then Dubas left, and they had to fire him. And so they said, you know what? You know that guy wasn't good enough? We're going to keep him.
Yep.
We're going to keep him.
We're going to keep him.
It was Dubas that was the problem. It wasn't Keefe.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, Boucher is got to be like that. He's the backup in case they got to fire Keefe at any particular point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to think. Crazy stuff. I didn't think that the Leafs were going to give us a crazy offseason and potentially a really fun next season.
There's been a shit ton of drama in Toronto. Like, the drama is just...
I would not want to be a Leafs fan because you gotta be worried again. I mean, it's going to be another season without a Stanley Cup.
There's absolutely zero shot they wouldn't. Absolutely no shot they win a cup. They might not even win another playoff round. I genuinely do not think they're going to win another playoff round.
That's where I was just going to go, Matt. To be a Leafs fan and to know that, okay, yeah, we're going to win. We're going to win the season. We might be presidents. We might be the president's choice. You're going to be out in the first round again.
Yeah,
because you have a team with no heart.
And even so, you brought in guys. No, they did bring in guys that you could say that's going to give you the, I don't know. I don't think.
I mean, Bertuzzi adds a little bit of grit. Like I said,
Bertuzzi adds grit.
I think Bertuzzi's kind of a psychopath, but he's a good player. He'll bring some grit. I like Max. I love Max Domi. Nothing against him, but
the problem
he'll help them out a little bit. But again, I just don't think it's enough.
The problem with all of it, though, Matt and Rick, the problem is you've got players like Matthews, O'Reilly, Riley, and there's a lot of players, like especially Matthews and Marner. They have gotten used to playing a style that it's me.
Mm-hmm.
And this other aspect that they're trying to bring in, it's too late. You can't bring that all together. It's got to start organically, like we are doing here in Montreal. It has to be started like that and nurtured. You can't just bring in all these pieces and think that it's just going to happen. It's not going to believe what happen. It's never going to happen.
Might even be bringing in too much ego in some of these players.
Yeah,
to be that to gel into that. That's what I think is going to happen.
All this great talent there, but it's not enough.
All right, I'm going to scroll a bit, and then we're going to start over. Biel, I stopped on. Biel says, I'm a Bergevin hater. Yeah, we knew you were a Bergevin hater. We know that.
That's
good.
BL, I think Matthews is going to sign too, but from what I've heard, he only wants like a 3 or 4 year deal.
Like he doesn't want long term.
Which tells me he's got literally zero intention of sticking around in Toronto.
I heard 5.
3 to 5. I've heard 3 to 5.
There you go. Yeah. And you know what? The longer till he signs, he's not signing. You realize that, eh?
Mm.
And listen, he might already see what's going on and going, I don't want.
No, out here the rumor is he's not signing.
He's going back to the States.
I heard he wants like $14 million.
He wants huge money.
That's the number I heard too.
I heard 14. He wants 14. Nylander wants, like you said, 10 or 10 and a half.
Yeah. Like, where are you getting the money from? 14. And then they want to bring Erik Karlsson in.
Yeah, when I saw them mentioned in that, I'm like, all right, what am I? Where the shrooms? Where did Rick put them? What am I on?
And the thing I don't understand is how are they still under the cap? That 10% over they're allowed. How are they still just under that even? I don't get how they're pulling this off. Because you're still only allowed to go 10% over the cap, right?
I mean, I know they're going to have LTIR, but I mean, I just
this is what I'm saying,
and I don't think Brad Treliving knows that, like, if he puts, if they put LTIR on before the season, like, I don't think he knows they're only going to get like, if they're all, you might only end up getting like $1,000 of relief.
It's
I don't know if he. Yeah.
No, you're allowed whatever you start the season at over. Then that's the max you're allowed on any one individual player. So if say you're $1 million over the cap, just throwing out a number, then if a $7 million player gets hurt during the season, you're getting $1 million in relief. That's it. So yeah, that's why it's so imperative that the Habs have Carey Price on the roster.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
I heard this rumor too. Paul Duffy is, I guess, may have also heard it. Carl is going to Pitts, and that's what I've heard too out here.
Yeah, that's the biggest rumor.
Yeah. I've heard Pittsburgh or Carolina. That's kind of cooled off, but yeah, I think Pittsburgh's.
Pittsburgh. It looks like it's going to be Pittsburgh. It's the one that's consistent, that rumor. But I mean, Toronto's being mentioned a lot. But Pittsburgh is not on. That's known.
Yeah, where the hell are they going to find the $11.5 friggin' million?
Well, no, wait. No one's taking Carlson at full value, right?
No. Excuse me. So they're going to have to find.
San Jose can't hold 50%. So you got to figure that's a three-way deal where some team's going to take a third of that to get something in return. So a third of that's still like $5 million.
They're
looking at getting Carlson for about $4 to $5 million a season, but they don't have the freaking money.
Especially depending on what happens with Samsonov and arbitration. If the arbitrator goes, you lowballed him. I'm siding with Samsonov, and then they gotta go.
They're gonna side with the player.
No, they can walk away if they go to 4.9. Because I saw today the walkaway number is 4.53. So if it's over that, team can walk away. If it's under that, though, they can. So if they hit them up with $4 million, they don't have it, and they're at 8.8,800,000 and some odd thousand over the cap for the off season, which is $500,000 over the allowable 10%. How are they allowed that? That's what I don't understand. Right now, they're over it already. I don't know how they're even allowed to do that. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to the chat and Montreal. You see anything out there, Matt? You want to?
No, I'm going on cap friendly because I hadn't.
Oh,
I actually haven't. I haven't looked at their cap situation in a hot minute.
Where's my guy Cannon?
Oh, Vince! Holy mother of Moses! Oh, Vince Dunn is staying in Seattle.
Yeah, saw that. Wow, how far behind am I? I'm really far behind. Okay, I'm going to scroll back here. BL, they did straighten out the medical staff. They hired 2 people.
Yeah, they did.
Very good people.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's straightened out. Oh, that's David. I'm sorry that I didn't mention this, but especially BL is out there. Anybody that is out in the Maritimes, I hope everything's good for you. The flooding has been horrible. I just hope everybody out there is safe and not underwater because
oh my God,
it's pretty bad out there.
It's awful out there.
It's really bad out there.
I was up in New Hampshire, up Lake Winnipesaukee, and almost every single road that cuts through all the mountains up there was closed because the flooding literally washed the road gone.
Or the heat has been buckling roads too.
Yeah,
the heat, because roads expand in the heat, and I've seen video after video of the boom that just pops up.
Yep.
So it's listen, it's not good news, right? So let's not get into that because we're having a good time here, and I want to.
Yeah, she ain't pretty, but let's yeah.
How do they say it on Letterkenny? How are we gonna F this pig?
Oh, you got me now.
Isn't that the saying?
Yeah, they got a few though, Rick.
But I'm talking about that one in particular.
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna take me.
Habs fans need to take some Prozac. There's still an amazing amount of them actually do, Andrew. It's getting tough to be a Habs fan. And how do you mean that, though? Putting up with other Habs fans, or you're not in agreement with what's going on with our management? I'm not sure how you mean that, Paul. You heard who's Marbet? It's
David trying to say Arbor.
Arbor's not going anywhere.
No, they're not letting go.
No, he meant Marner. That's who I thought. Marner to the Rangers. I think it's Nylander that's going to go because Marner's signed and Nylander wants more than they want to give him. So to me, it sounds like Nylander's going to go.
Well, a couple reasons. A, he's the only one with like a no trade list instead of a full no move clause.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
Literally it's just him.
And it just kicked in. They waited too long.
And I don't think any GM in the league's paying him $10.5 million.
I don't think anybody in the league's paying him that. No, you know what? I'm not. You know what? It's not going to surprise me if there's a team out there that will. But
somebody will.
I wouldn't
give Nylander 10.5.
Some desperate team.
He's not worth it.
No, and there's teams that need to get to the floor. So they,
But then it comes down to what teams are on his list, right? Like,
yeah. As long as I hope the Habs aren't, and I don't think Habs would get him. He's not a Habs kind of guy.
Will you imagine if he only put like contending teams on? Yeah, if he put like all those bottom feeder teams on his no trade list, it's like, all right, then you can't get traded anywhere.
Now I've got a question. Do you remember the game when Max Domi, his first season here, Nylander, was it Nylander or was it Kapanen? It was Kapanen.
Oh, the penalty when he Kapanen threw his stick. When he threw his stick.
I don't remember exactly what Kapanen, and then Domi told him off.
Yeah, that was Kapanen threw his stick at Jeff Petrie. Petrie got a penalty. I remember that. Domi walked up to him, and he let him hear it.
From the bench, he screamed it out, and everybody heard it. But I was thinking like it was between him and Nylander. I was thinking, I wonder how that's going to go between the two of them on the same team, but it's not. So no worries there.
Yeah, I remember that. That was because I remember when they panned to him and I read his lips. I was like, whoa. He told him.
Joseph says Carlson for Matthews straight up. You're talking, okay, you didn't spell it that way. You're talking about the defenseman Carlson. I thought for a second meant the draft pick that we just had. Why would San Jose want to do that to themselves?
They would
take Matthews.
They wouldn't do that
straight up.
That's stupid.
Joe, yes, having the popcorn and enjoying it, that's what I'm loving about the Leafs, and it's going to continue on. So it's great.
So I'm on their cap friendly right now. With their LTIR candidates on LTIR, they are over that allotment by $3.2 million. So their LTIR can't even cover how much they're over right now.
I know they have to move players. I just don't understand how I don't understand what's going on over there. My song, I'm telling you, was appropriate. Didn't the Leafs play some games with a short bench the past season? Yeah, but I think a lot of teams did. And yeah, with the cap not going up for a few years like that, I think that was a lot of teams. Montreal did it, I think, at one point. I think. So, yeah, that doesn't – I'm not going to make fun of that. Andrew, that's one of the sayings, pitter-patter, let's get at her. But that's not what I'm talking about. It's the one where they say something – I don't know how it's used exactly, but, like different ways to F that pig. I'm not saying the word because I'm not supposed to swear.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Leafs roster right now too.
Wait a second. Reinbacher's knees are not really an issue. It's not an issue.
It's not an issue at all.
You're making it an issue.
He's fine.
Because unfortunately, you wouldn't know a good take if it slapped you in the face. We've been through this on the comments, and you are just Mr. Negative. Don't know hockey for shit, if you ask me, or just you want the clickbait ability of your comments, but they're ridiculous, and I don't get why you don't understand when I tell you that.
Yeah, his knees are absolutely fine. There's no
I'm
issues.
sorry, people. There's a reason why I said that to that person, and he knows why.
Yeah, it's
His knees
called,
are not. It's not a disease, but what it probably means is that he's got probably a couple of more inches to grow.
It's like a syndrome type. It's essentially there's a bump on the growth plate on his knee right below the right on the top of the
right, which gives him some pain
on the tibia.
But at the very worst, it's 10% chance that he'll have to have that shaved down. 10% chance he has to have an operation.
But that's a nothing surgery.
Career, it doesn't affect anything, and more than likely it means he's got a couple of inches to grow. So go from 6'2" to 6'4".
Yeah,
to me, it's a good thing.
And it
we missed the boat. We missed the boat, and that's it. The team's finished now for the next decade because we drafted David Reinbacher.
Yeah, I mean it shouldn't even affect his mobility really. It's only it'll be slower, but we got proper physical therapists now and trainers. They can before the game or after the game they just ice it down, something like that. It's nothing major.
He got to where he is today with that. He got to where he is today with what he's talking about. That was a big mistake for us to pick him, but he got here. And it's not going to affect the rest of his career. So,
boys,
mountain out of a molehill.
Boys, at the end of the day, the boy, all he needs to do is go sit in an ice bath, which he has been doing.
That's all you got to do. It's literally all it is treating pain.
Yeah,
sit in an ice bath, maybe.
It's the swelling.
Hang on, Leon.
When he agitates the knees, it's a swelling. It causes a little bit of pain, but the kid is going to be fantastic. And you know what? All these guys, a lot of, and I'm not trying to knock our following or your following or what have you, study, go research the shit before you start flapping your gums about it. Like, come on.
Oh, seriously. The first time I heard about it, actually, Delaney had texted me.
Right?
Snapchat. Yeah. And he said, he goes, "What? I heard something about Reinbacher's knees, some disease." I go, "Let me take a look at it." Found out the name of the disease, and I read about it, and I'm going, "Oh, he's fine. He's going to have sore knees."
What was one of the big things? Ice bath, right?
Ice bath, ice,
How many players?
It wouldn't shock me if we see him after a game with like the big ice bags wrapped on his knees, something like that.
How many players are like that after a game? How many? A lot.
Yeah.
And just to say, I insulted Tony Marinaro. Wouldn't be the first time, and it wouldn't be the first time he was insulted. And you know what? It's like water off a duck's back. Doesn't bother him. Yeah. Doesn't bother me.
It's like I went on Twitter too to see, again when I was kind of doing my research and
you're the one who told me about it, Matt.
Yeah, and people were talking like it was some degenerative knee condition and he's not going to have knees. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about? He's fine.
All the
knee pain. We all have knee pain.
Everybody who wanted Michkov, everyone who wanted Michkov and said we got to get Michkov or bust. They're all thinking that that's it. Reinbacher's career is done because of this. And then here's another thing I'm going to go into just because we're talking about Michkov. So everybody that didn't like the Reinbacher pick says, a lot of them say, Habs drafted for need. It's wrong. They drafted for need. They should have got Michkov because we need that elite talent. We need that guy here. We need to have that here. I don't know. What's the difference? So all you Michkov guys, explain that one.
No, I think, and you said it very well. And I forget which, because I think the past couple of streams I've been in the chat, but you said it perfectly. I think we drafted the best player available for our team, for the system that we want to play.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Bottom line, like you just said, we went after what we need, not what everybody else out there in the bloody world wants. The team drafted what we need. Get over it.
Everybody who picks in the top 10 actually kind of does draft for what they need when you think about it, right? When you really think about it, if you're picking in the top 10, unless you're getting that number one, Connor Bedard, every team was going to draft him. Then you're picking for need. As much as the talent, you're picking for need.
There was still a lot of.
Are you telling me there wasn't one team beside, obviously, because Chicago was taking Bedard? You're telling me of the rest of the 9 teams, none of those teams needed, you couldn't have told me one of their needs was a goal scorer that could put up 40 to 50 goals.
Yeah, I mean, Montreal's not the only team that passed on this kid, but anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's like I said, I think we have that right now in Caulfield, and I think I'm not saying Josh Waugh will be like a 40 goal guy, but I think Josh Waugh could probably go 30, 35 goals, somewhere around 25 assists, and I think Alex Newhook could be around there too. So the goal scoring will be there. Plus, now that we have a guy like Reinbacher to pair with Hudson, they can move the puck out of the defensive zone, start the rushes.
Do you know how much of an increase in production and offense that having a guy like Reinbacher, because I've been talking about this for at least 2 seasons now.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have anybody to release from the back end. It's a big problem, and that's what this guy does. He does 2 things. He stops plays in the defensive zone.
Stops them dead in their tracks, too.
And he creates them going up the ice. That's what he excels at, and that's what Montreal desperately needs on the back end. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't know how anybody can. By the way, thank you, Andrew. Thanks for the dono. Andrew says, I'm glad we passed on Michkov. Dumpster fire. Might be. I mean, I think there's a potential for that. But it's not. I'm not putting Michkov down, per se. He wasn't the guy for Montreal. He wasn't the guy. Talent, all those kids in the top 10 had talent. And will he turn out to be the second best, most elite player? And he may. We won't know it for 5 years, though.
Here's a question for everybody. Mm-hmm. If you've got that perennial 50-goal scorer, do you need a defense? Yeah, you need a defense. Do you need supporting players? Yeah, you need that.
100%.
Well, let me ask you guys something. What position does Jonathan Marchessault play?
He's a forward.
Defense? No, he's a Marchessault?
Oh, I don't know. Marchessault's a defenseman?
He's a defenseman. He just won the Conn Smythe in a Stanley Cup.
It's kind of where I was going.
He's a defenseman that moves the puck up the ice for his forwards.
That's kind of
Jack
where I was
Eichel
going,
was the
Matt.
team's leading scorer. He was like 50th in the league in scoring. I wonder what wins Stanley Cups.
100%. Right.
Basically, where I was going, Matt, is you got a 50-goal scorer over here. You've got 9 guys that can score 30 goals over here, between 20 and 30 goals over here. Where is the balance? Well, if you've got 9 guys that can bury the puck versus 1 guy that can bury the puck, I'm going with the 9 guys.
You're doing it wrong, though. I just want to say you're doing it wrong because you had the 1 guy winning.
Well, you know what I mean. Come on.
I'm
watching myself in the thing, right? So.
Well, here's another example, right? Look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. They built top heavy. They got, I'd say, three guys that put up numbers like that, goal scoring wise. They got shit on the back end, aside from Morgan Riley. That's it. And even he's not that good at defense.
He's not that good.
But he can move the puck up.
He's okay, but he's not.
He's a puck mover. No, he's a puck mover.
He's a puck mover.
He's a puck mover, but he's not that great of a defenseman.
No, that's the problem there. They don't have enough money to move around to have some. Now, this is something that Reinbacher addresses both of them. Reinbacher, if you ask scouts, what does he do? He stops plays on the defensive side. He stops them. And then he turns around and he creates on the offense. He's amazing in transition.
His first pass is going to,
right.
I've watched some shows where you guys have talked. I have also thought in my mind, I can see them double shifting Reinbacher, putting him up with somebody like Lane Hudson, like you guys have been talking about. But then I can also see him getting double shifted and thrown out there with Jack Eye, somebody tough like that, to also go out there and get. Now you got 2 guys. Jack Eye's got a great first pass. So does Reinbacher. So I can see the 2 of them going out there and being together too. So everybody forgets that first pass coming out of your D zone is the most important pass.
And this is what Reinbacher excels at. He excels at stopping the defense, on defense. He excels at the transition and rush. What is Montreal's game? transition and rush on offense.
Transition and rush. Can I just say, BL Duff? I'm probably speaking on Matt's behalf as well. Reinbacher's knees, no issue as far as I'm concerned.
It's not an issue. It's a non.
I guess Marchessault is a forward. I don't know why I thought he was a defenseman. I just saw that in the chat too. Hey, but again, like he's not. Their leading scorer on that team was Eichel, and he was like I think 50th in the league in scoring. So
does Vegas have a 50 goal scorer?
No.
Do they have a 40 goal scorer?
No, I don't think they did.
Do they have a 30 goal scorer?
That Eichel, no?
Eichel might have got close.
Eichel, I think, got close. But did they have multiple players that had more than 15 goals? 20 goals?
Yeah, but you're not making an argument for Caulfield now. You're kind of taking away. So you do need those guys.
Right. No, but that argument that Pete's making and I'll make too, that's where the guys that we have, that's a guy like Newhook. That's a guy like I think 100%. Joshua. That's a guy like Kirby Dack.
Guys like Reinbacher. One thing Hudson and Reinbacher, when they both hit here, that's what they're going to do. What you're talking about, they're going to take those guys that are getting 5 and 7 goals, and they're going to double that up. And you're going to have that. That's where the goal scoring is coming from.
I'm trying to work my way towards. I'm trying to get people to think. If we have guys. We're gonna have 8 to 10 guys that are gonna be scoring 20 plus goals, hovering around that range, 20 goals.
You see another team,
one elite goal scorer in Caulfield that's gonna have close to 50. We are gonna be an offensive juggernaut, is where I'm trying to go with this.
I think
eventually,
right? You got Caulfield, who's a 40 plus, Suzuki 30 plus. Kirby Doc, I think 30 plus.
I think Newhook easy 30 and 30 guy.
You got goal scoring there, man.
I mean Slavkovsky, if he really shows improvement, Slav I think could get close.
Slav,
maybe 25,
I don't know what
30.
Slav yet.
I think Slav's hovering.
I'm not judging him yet. He hasn't played enough.
But still, I mean 20 to 25 out of Slavkovsky. If you're getting 30 plus from a Doc,
you got new.
If you start adding up what you guys just both talked about, if you start adding that up, how many goals have you just scored?
Well, I think the goal for that,
your goals for and then your goals against. If you've got an incredible defense, which we have, like
your differential is going to be amazing, right?
You're right.
Where you're going to be giving up less goals, scoring more. I mean that everything that makes a winning team. And a Stanley Cup playoff winning team is what this team is going towards.
Like
you can see it happening. I
always say this, and I don't mean it in a rude way, but everybody out there in the chat, you gotta step back, look at the bigger picture. Yeah, you want that huge superstar like a Guy Lafleur or something like that. We're not going down that path anymore. We're going down a path where everything is spread out evenly over the whole ice surface so that we can take teams and destroy them in multiple different ways. If we've got a defensive team like that we're going up against like Minnesota, who plays a nasty type trap, we can destroy them. We can rip that apart. If we play an offensive juggernaut like Colorado, we can shut them down with our defense and create offense off the pass. Like, we are going in a direction where we will be unstoppable.
Well, we hope we'll get there, but it looks to me like we're going to if they keep making these kind of moves and bringing in these kind of potential.
Like what Jeff Gorton and Hughes are doing right now is just the way I look at it, the way I see it unfolding. I see a much brighter, bigger picture, and I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming. I guess.
No, I think you're right. It's a bigger picture than I think we're like. I know for myself, I've never thought of it in that way until more recently, right? But you got to look at it like that. It's a bigger
dominate
picture.
In every
chess game out there.
I was just gonna say that, Rick. That is exactly what I told you.
It's a chess game.
After the Newhook trade, after the Reinbacher pick,
and those are. If you know anything about chess, and I used to be a good chess player when I was a kid. You're not going to beat anybody who is good if you don't make those moves ahead to set up the killer kind of things, right? If you don't take the time and make the moves. And that's what you're seeing Hughes doing right now. He's getting the players on the board where they're supposed to be before he brings that queen out to kill. I mean, that's basically what he's doing.
To me, like I kind of started thinking that way when we got Kirby Dach. After we traded Romanov, and I was like, But then like I said, I looked at the prospect pool and I went, you know what? I can see where this is going. I can see where this is going. 1,000%.
You can see the direction. There's a clear direction here.
I said something to you back then when we got rid of Romanov. I was crushed. I was hurt. I was really sad. But then I said, wait a minute. Romanov, he's actually a one-dimensional player. He's not that great defensively. Yes, he plays the body extremely well. There's the dimension that he had. But he didn't do anything else that we needed. He didn't have a great first
better pass than other players that were coming up.
Yeah.
And I had read something about this probably a few months before the draft. Someone, and I didn't agree with this person, but someone saying Romanov's not good enough. He's going to have to be moved, or he's going to be your seventh guy, or at best, third pairing guy. And I was like, no. And then, but they saw that, and it's not a knock on Romanov. He is who he is.
Yeah, you know? He's one-dimensional. You know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get.
Doesn't have enough offense.
He has no offense.
But I mean, the hits, you love to watch Romanov just bowl through guys. Like it was, I loved it.
If Romanov,
it reminded me of Alexei Evelyn.
Yeah, but if Romanov had PK Subban's talent, then you got the great ideal defenseman, right? Then you got everything you need.
Although he didn't have enough size. He was only 6 foot. That was another thing.
That was the other thing.
You know, but they turned that into Kirby Dach, who I believe, and I said it in my video, that he's going to be a physically dominating second line center that literally can skate through people without winking an eye, without losing a stride, right through them to the net. He did it a few times last year.
Rick, right now, this is what we're doing with Kirby Dach. We're just scratching
the surface. Yeah,
but I think it'll be the same with Newhook.
When he loses his temper, you know he can throw him with those long arms. Look what he did to that Detroit player.
And then
pounded him into the ice, and then stood over top of him like, "What? You gonna go me?"
Remember the old for football? You'd see like a guy carrying the ball and running with his arm out like that.
Yeah,
through people. That's what he does. I saw it 3 times last year. He just stiff arm guys right through them. Puck on the one-handed on the stick, got through and made a play.
Got those long arms. Rick.
He's going to be fantastic. I think. If they
got a nice set of hands too. Real nice set of hands. I love that goal he scored against Chicago in the shootout too, and he turned and he did this, and he was like,
"Okay, we got to address.
I told you guys. I told you what I could do, but you gave up on me."
We have to address this.
Yeah, we got to get back to the. We
have to address this. This is a fallacy right here. Sorry, Leon. This is a fallacy.
Yeah, I wanted to go there.
I was born in 1963. In my lifetime, 12 cups have been won. The expansion happened in 68. So that means I think 9 cups were won after that. That's a good portion of their cups. So it's not all in the 16 era. The other fallacy there is they had control of the Francophone players. You're wrong. It's not true. It's a fallacy. I did a video on it. I did my research, and it's not true.
It is so not effing true.
They did not. You know how many times they had that only in? I'll go back a bit. Before the draft, before that system came in, teams sponsored other teams, and from those teams that they sponsored and gave money to, they got their players, and they were able to sign those players first before anybody else. Montreal Canadiens, I can't remember the guy's name. It wasn't Pollock. It was the guy before him. Was fantastic at getting a network of teams everywhere. They had players from everywhere, across Quebec, across Canada.
Yep.
When they changed the system to the draft, because Montreal had this dominance and it was fairly acquired, it wasn't cheating or anything, they gave them the choice to either make their first round pick normally or to choose 2 Quebec-born players before anybody else gets a chance at them. They did that on 2 occasions only, where they took advantage of that and only made 3 picks out of the 4 they would have been allowed. And none of those picks were anything big. They played, but they were. Régent Hull, I think, was one of them. So it's a fallacy about the Francophone players. It's not true. It's not true. It's a myth. And I did my research, so I know I'm right.
I remember when you first told me about that too, because I didn't know how the process worked. I've learned everything that I know about all sports, obviously hockey too, from my dad. And he was obviously a giant Bruins fan, us being from Boston. So he would say that to me all the time. He'd go, well, yeah, the Canadians won all their cups because they just got all the French players.
Yeah, so what the
I was like, okay, but no. And then when you told me about that, I was like, oh, so I mean, it actually was fair. Like, we had whoever the GM was before Pollock knew what the hell he was doing, had everything set up right, and
he was. Yeah, they were great at management and getting that network of teams, but then it all changed. And they adapted, Another fallacy is the Flying Frenchman. That's a fallacy. That was a marketing ploy, calling it a French team. It was a marketing ploy. It was bought and started by an Ontario businessman for the French people of Quebec, but it was never a strictly French team ever in its existence. Was it ever strictly a French team? It was marketed that way to get the French worker in because of the renovations done at the Forum, and they needed to get attendance, and they wanted to bring the people in. So anybody, whether you were French or had just a French name, they put you out to the media to get the French people of Quebec to buy in, and it worked. And that's where that comes from. And it's not me, because you think I don't like French people that I say that. That's not. It's the facts.
It's nice that you're saying that, Rick, but another person that has come out and said that and defended that numerous times, and that is Chris Nyland. He has come out and said, we are not, he refers back to that Francophone stuff, and he's just like, that's all BS.
It's all BS.
He says it with much more aggressive words with the plums and stuff. And he's like, it's all bullshit, which it is. It's all bullshit. And
Leon, I was born in 1963, and I didn't know any of this shit till 2 years ago when I researched it. So it doesn't mean anything. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's all good. It's just, I think I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
But I want to touch on, too, the 6-team part as well. We did win a ton of cups in that era, but with only 6 teams, all those teams are pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? Those teams had some friggin' good players. And I make the same argument when I talk about the Celtics, because it was kind of the same thing. Back when the Celtics were dominating in the 60s.
The same rules.
It was only there were a few teams. But when you look at the rosters of those teams, holy crap.
Right?
Like, nothing was a cakewalk. I mean, these are Hall of Famers playing Hall of Famers game after game after game.
And by the way,
it's not like anybody cruised to those titles. I mean, you had to earn those.
And another thing with all of this, if this was all true, like the advantage with the French players getting them first, then why were the Habs so shitty in the 30s and 40s? And it wasn't until the 50s under the proper management and that quality that they became good in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then when that management became shit again, we have won 2 Stanley Cups in 30, 40 years. So, anyways.
And now management's good again, so who knows?
Who knows, right?
We've got some other people that are making some interesting comments out there. Granted, I understand where they're going with some of their comments with regards to Stanley Cups, but Montreal is the last Canadian team to win the goddamn Stanley Cup. When was the last time any other team won that bloody cup in Canada?
And will be the next. And this is a prediction I made for 3 years now that we're going to be the next.
Yeah, but who won the Stanley Cup before us in Canada?
It had to be Edmonton, right?
I think
Toronto's hasn't won since '67. Ottawa doesn't have one. Winnipeg doesn't have one. Vancouver
Calgary won in '89.
Oh, Calgary. So Calgary.
No, but it was 89. Edmonton won.
Oh yeah, Edmonton. Yeah.
Edmonton.
It was Edmonton
before Montreal.
Won the
yeah,
last
because that was against
Canada.
I remember that too. That series pissed my dad off because that was against the Bruins, and I remember there was the power went out in the Boston in the Garden.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they played the game in Edmonton, and my dad was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I remember that when the power went off. I was like, "What?" I was listening because I was working delivering pizzas, and I was listening, and I never forget that. That was crazy stuff, man.
So
that was here in Montreal. Wasn't it here in Montreal, or was it the Boston Garden when the power went out?
It was at the Garden. The power went out, and instead of playing at a neutral venue, they said, "We'll just make Edmonton the home team." My dad was like,
"Something
what
happened
the hell?"
Like that. No, but somebody check this. Something happened like that here in a big game.
Probably
the power went out at the Forum. I don't know all the details.
That's with how old those buildings were.
I remember that other one, but it happened here too.
With how old those buildings were in the 90s, like I wouldn't be,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not shocked. I mean,
those
buildings were falling apart.
Well, it wasn't just that they were falling apart; they were overloading the power circuit, right? They they had a service of 15,000 amps. Well, shit, they were drawing 18,000 amps. Of course, you're going to lose something, right? So there's some comments on here that have kind of irked me a little bit, but. Montreal has always been good, and they've strived to be good. And at the end of the day, some of you need to look within and see that we have always strived to win the cup. We've always tried
to a certain point. No, wait, that stopped though. That seemed to stop for some reason in the 90s. I don't know why, but yeah, as a Habs fan growing up here in Montreal. If we didn't win the cup, let's say this. If we went to the Stanley Cup final and lost in Game 7, it was not a good season.
No.
Unless we won the cup, it was not a good season. That's how spoiled we were for winning the cup.
It was 1988 in the Forum.
1988. Was it 88? I thought it was the 80s.
88.
Yeah, it was Boston, Montreal, wasn't it?
I'll tell you. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was Boston.
Yeah, I remember that one. That I really remember. Joseph's comment is right.
Yeah, it was in the first period. The power went out, and they brought in emergency lights according to this.
Yeah,
to light the arena.
Just to light the arena, but they didn't continue the game.
There's a comment in here. Black Dragon, Dragon Noir.
Yeah, Dragon Noir.
Replying to Entertap, they're saying you're right. The Kraken did well last year with 4 20-goal scorers. That's 80 goals between 4 guys. And what do we have?
We don't have that yet. We don't even have that yet.
We don't have that yet, but we've got the potential.
I think this season
we're building it. Right?
Come on, look, think about it. Kirby Dach in 58 games, didn't he get 20 or he was right there?
He was close. Yeah, he was close.
Right there. So if healthy season,
Caulfield,
Dach's getting 30 or in that area.
Caulfield, I think, hits 40. No problem whatsoever.
Hey, Newhook last year, mostly in a third line capacity, got 14.
He didn't get ice time.
And with 13 change in ice time.
He had 13.
He got
goals,
14.
But he got 5 minutes a game, 6 minutes a game.
No, he was getting an average of 13 and change from what I remembered in doing the video. So here he's probably second line. He's going to get 16 to 18 minutes a game. His 14 is going to be 20 or more. And so you see where it's building, and there's the 20-goal scorers. Now we got 4 of them.
We're going to have more than 4.
And maybe more because Matheson on a full season could get 20.
Don't forget exactly. You've got a defense that, what are you going to get from Goulet?
They're not, but that's it. That's another reason for Reinbacher. The guys that, other than Matheson, really, we're not loaded with a lot of offense back there right now.
Barron could be that. I think Jordan Harris has a little more offense than you'd think.
Yes, there's guys that have some potential, but Reinbacher, even though he hasn't really filled that, just some scouts I've watched on video, they believe Reinbacher's got a lot more to show here in the NHL offensively.
He does. But where I'm trying to go with this is, where do you think you're going to get goals for Goulet? Just at a ballpark.
Well, if he's paired up with Matheson and there's offense there, then he's going to find himself up in that zone a lot more, and maybe on the power play as well.
So, what do you think for goals wise?
What did he get last year? I mean, he missed a lot of time.
He got hurt a lot.
10-12 from Goulet.
So you get 10-12 from Goulet. I'm thinking about 8 to 10 from Barron, right?
I think Barron starts in Laval because one of them has to.
I think Jordan Harris should be able to hit around 10.
I think Harris probably better.
I think he's a little better offensively than you think, but Jordan Harris also is quite good at that first pass out of the zone.
No, Harris definitely, and Kovacevic probably close to the same thing, and even Arbor. Arbor could get 8.
I'm thinking Arbor 5 to 8. Like, what did he have? 6?
He had 5. He already had 5, and he was injured most of the season. Arbor should get 8.
So, and you don't think Arbor's working on his offense?
Offense is coming. Listen, if anybody thinks that we're just going to stay and be struggling, they're addressing that. That's why Newhook. That's why drafting Reinbacher. And they're not done. They're probably just done for this offseason, but they're not done.
We've got some work to do. We got some cash down
and
low.
Some development too.
Yeah.
And there's guys in the minors that are going to come here and produce points too.
The shitty part is, we've got people that are just impatient. They want it now.
Okay, let's get to some of this here. I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll go over a little bit and we'll spend some time here answering this. The facts right. The league grew. The Habs lost. What? Rick, get the facts right. The league grew and Habs lost. What did we lose? We lost. Had they played this? The season started? The season started. I didn't know.
I think.
Rick.
I don't know who commented that, but I think they're trying to get at, like, when the league expanded, we didn't win as many cups. But again, you're bringing more teams in. You're bringing more talent. And
is that what you mean?
Obviously, it's also dominance like that.
Isn't
sustainable. Like you're gonna have ups and downs.
It's the same. But it's the same for everybody. So the reason that we lost and other teams that were able to win was because we didn't have the management that knew what the hell they were doing anymore. That's the truth. And if you say, well, you're talking about Bob Gainey that way, Bob Gainey was not a good GM.
No,
sorry, love Bob Gainey, great player, not a good GM. Sorry.
When you add more teams to a professional sports league, you're gonna have more players, probably more very, very good players. Like, it shouldn't be a shock that, if one team is winning a bunch, you expand the league and championships start, being shared around a little bit. That happens with sport.
This is why I said what I said to this guy. Because this is dumb. So you're gonna make up things you're making that up. What if they get 50 but give up more than they score? They'll be the Edmonton Oilers. They'll be the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know, but that's just being. Give me something that makes sense. Come on.
Entertop has a good comment just underneath that.
Seattle had 60-20 plus scores. Yeah. And look how far they went.
Do you want to have just one line that scores, or do you want to have 4 lines that score?
That's why I say
I'd rather have 4. Give me 4 lines.
Even a guy like Harvey Pinard, with where he works around the net, he could hit 15 goals.
Yeah,
12 to 15.
But he's not. Wait a second now. Okay, I don't disagree with you, but the difference
he's not going to get the ice time.
Getting that opportunity, and if he does, that's not good, because that means the injuries. So no,
Harvey Pinard won't be getting that much ice time. But the thing is, that little SOB gets into the dirty places, and he could potentially, Rick, get those goals.
He'll get good numbers for he's playing.
Great numbers, but
he'll be a great. I think he plays. He's great everywhere he plays. He can play anywhere. He's the new Paul Byron, really. He's the new Paul Byron.
Yeah,
and he's not playing top 6
with a little bit of Gallagher mixed in there.
I just making the point that even with, obviously, because he'll be playing bottom 6 minutes, because of where he does most of his work, I can see him maybe hitting 12-ish goals because he works around the net so much, because he puts in those rebounds. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, boys, our team is setting up to spread goal scoring throughout 4 bloody lines and to have defense that is going to dominate in whatever capacity necessary, right? And that's what people don't understand. And people are impatient. They want wins now. They want championships now. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of drafting. Got to build with it. And I like the path that these guys are going down.
Yeah, I think it's.
I see a
vision.
Future.
They have a vision of what they're going to do, or what they want to do, and how they're going to do it. And what I like about what I really like, is that they'll stick to their guns. They trust in their vision, and so they're going to live and die by their vision of what they think. So. And I like that because the results are already there. And we're not where we got to be, but the results are there in the direction they're going.
And if you once again, if you step back and think about, like, try to put yourself in Gorton's shoes and Hughes' shoes. These are guys that have just kind of completely combined and come up with a thought of, hey, we did good here and we did good there. What if we were to do this and make ourselves really, really dominant? We could own the league for a really long time if we just combine forces and go down a path where we're drafting for the future, keep building our prospects, bring in kids, build a group that's strong together. Like, I love the vision that they have. They're going after complete dominance. They're not going after one cup. They're going after multiple cups.
The team's going to be set up for about a decade and a half.
Exactly. They're going after
what I said earlier.
They're going after 10 years of being a contender. That's what they're chasing.
Yeah. They're going after
and they have a vision. And, you can say bring in this player and that player. And if they're too old, they're not doing that. And if they're not signing free agents right now and all this kind of stuff. But it's a vision that they've got, and they don't care as much what we think about that vision, because they believe that they can do this. And I believe
we got a couple of geniuses sitting up there looking down and thinking bigger picture.
Well, we'll find out soon if they're geniuses.
Well, so. I mean, I might be biting off a little more than I can chew there, but I
down the road.
I want to think that these guys know what they're talking about, and they're building it. Like, Jesus Christ, if we could be dominant for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's called Montreal Canadiens of the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah.
And that's what they're shooting for. They're shooting to
and even
that.
Scratching a little bit of the 80s. They're Rick, like
a little bit, but I mean, no. Yeah, sort of.
They weren't dominant, but they were
good, but not dominant. There was a difference.
There was a taper down, right?
There was a difference. But they're shooting to be that.
Yeah.
Built that way for sustainability over a long period of time, and to be not just competitive but a contender. Like, to do that, you can't do that like with some of the things I hear out there and players bring in. You're not doing that.
No. The other thing is, like, at the end of the day, the more championships they win, the more money they bring in, the more money Gorton makes, or not Gorton.
I don't know if it's about that necessarily, but yeah,
it's not. But it's about
everybody thrives
when bringing that. Yeah, and bringing that success from top right down to the bottom, and making Jeff Molson happy and successful as well. Like, you got to remember, they got to generate revenue.
Yeah, I don't think it's. You know what? I disagree in that. I don't think it's Gorton's purview.
I'm talking over the whole league. Like, when this goes,
the Habs have that already. They just need to tap into that.
It's going to be even stronger. Like, when they go to Phoenix,
tap into it. They need to win to tap into it.
Yeah,
that's what they need to do. That base there is already there. If they start to be that team again, believe me, they're all coming back.
Exactly. That's where I'm trying to go with this.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's going to consume
and you know
the
what?
whole
Us here at Talking Habs will benefit as well because the numbers go up because the interest is there and more people come in, and we all benefit from them being this sustainable contender instead of having these. We're in the playoffs this year. Next year we suck. Oh, look, we made a run this year. Next year we suck. Like, I'm tired of that.
It's not going to be like that though anymore, right?
No, that's what they're trying to do, the opposite of that. To do that, well, you have to make those chess moves, and you've got to do it in the right order, or it all falls apart at some point. If you don't do it in the right order, because it all falls apart anyway at some point because the salary cap. Right, so eventually it's going to fall apart, and if you don't
some
do
of these
right,
deals, like
it's going to happen fast.
It all shows with some of the deals that they've signed. I mean, to sign Suzuki, Caulfield for the money that they have,
and even Newhook and Dak,
and they
all four of those deals are fantastic.
And Newhook and Dak offset. So 1 year Dak, next year Newhook. You're not killing yourself to sign these guys.
Right,
and then new picks come in, and they're on ELCs, and everything starts to work out for the
not to mention, we're gonna have Lane Hudson and David Reinbacher for 3 years on ELCs.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna offset, and they'll probably offset too because I think Reinbacher will get here a year before Hudson, but Reinbacher then Hudson. You'll see.
I think Hudson's here at the end of BU season.
Hey Matt,
we'll see.
Tone it down.
Seriously, if he has another season like he did last year, he's here at the end of BU season.
You hear that knocking?
I think so.
Under his desk gets the chubby.
Boom! Oh, sorry guys.
When he talks about Hudson.
That's where I was going, brother.
I mean, am I wrong though? The kid's fucking amazing. Pardon my French.
No, you're not wrong.
He's ridiculous. How fun is 3-on-3 overtime going to be next season when it's Suzuki, Caulfield, Lane Hudson, and then the second line's going to be Newhook, Doc, and Reinbacher or Mailloux even.
Or Mailloux.
But do you even think we're going to get there? Do you even think that we're going to get to that place where it's 3-on-3 in the overtime?
I mean, probably.
Yes.
I mean, every year there's going to be overtime games.
Listen. The great Habs teams of the 70s had some years where they had like 10 tied games.
Yeah.
So no, that for sure. And when you get there, you want to have that. Here's a question: you think it's going to be funny? Can we call it a big three if it's Reinbacher, Mailloux, and Hudson?
Ooh.
Can we call it a big three?
No
joke.
No.
Come on, it's a look what I'm wearing. Okay, come on. There's an audience. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just joking now. I'm having fun out here. So even
seriously, the first 3-on-3 line of Caulfield, Hudson, Suzuki is literally the puck's gonna drop and it's in the net. And the other team's gonna not even move because that's how quick all three of those guys are. They're gonna. What the hell happened? Oh, game's already over.
That's a Newhook specialty, by the way. Off the draw, one timer at the net.
Yeah,
something he excels at is from what.
I was just gonna say he's really good at that.
Cool. Here's the other thing too. How friggin' fast is our top six gonna be? I mean, we're gonna have some quick players.
We're gonna be playing the speed game, and you got to have skilled guys. That's another reason why they all have to be skilled, is because they're gonna be playing at a high speed.
I mean, I've seen Newhook. His hands are right there with his feet in terms of speed. Like he'll fly at you and
that speed
gone.
All that speed needs defense that puts the puck on their stick. That first pass being the most critical thing on the planet, right? And where does that come from? It's going to come from guys like Hudson, Reinbacher, and
Mailloux. And if you look at them and scouting reports and shit, that's something all three of those guys excel at.
And don't forget, even though everybody forgets, Arbor's got a nice first pass. So he can even have that.
So does Jordan Harris.
You have to, though, to be a modern defenseman, you kind of have to be a two-way guy. You have to be.
I mean, in terms of hockey IQ, too, I mean, Harris, Hudson, and Reinbacher, honest to Christ, probably the best three hockey IQs of, like, young defensemen that I've seen in a long time. Like, off the charts. Seriously.
They've drafted well. And they've drafted with I say lately I've been saying this. Montreal Canadiens player. A Montreal Canadiens player is going to be thought of in certain ways, and you can see how that is. And it's a smart. He's got to have a high hockey IQ, fast, skilled, skates well. Those kind. That's going to be the typical Montreal Canadiens forward. Where it used to be small, fast, skilled player, but small. It's not going to be that anymore, though. I forgot to put big in there. This is a good question. Is Alex Lafreniere coming to Montreal?
No.
I don't think so, and I don't see why.
No, he's staying in New York.
At this point, I would think if they were going to go for Alex Lafreniere, that probably would have happened by now, And I think when Gallant got fired from New York, I think that kind of changed. I didn't think
Lafreniere he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I like him. He's a great player, but he hasn't got the speed that Montreal is looking for. Like, he hasn't got that.
He hasn't been developed right. I was reading something today about it that apparently Rangers development is brutal. So we look at some of these guys, like you take Elias Anderson, right? And you say, well, Gordon drafted him and he didn't make it and all that. But if it's true that the Rangers development is a little so-so, that would make sense why a lot of his last picks didn't make it yet, Lafreniere included, is that they're not developing properly there. That's what something new I read. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. It was something like that. I just read this.
I can see that.
Well, look at even when Hughes and Gorton came in. What was the very first thing they did after obviously telling Ducharme to kick rocks? Hockey development. All the right guys and all the right players and girls.
Right. They mentioned
that was the very first thing they did.
They brought in women. That was one of the first thing that I noticed is they brought in women.
They brought diversity in.
Yeah. And they brought in the second best women's hockey player ever.
And everybody has a voice. And that's another thing I like about this management is we're not run by one guy at the top now. We're run by a consensus amongst a lot of people that are on the same page, and they do things when they know they're all on the same page, and you get results that way.
Oh, sure.
And it doesn't bite you in the ass at some point.
I mean, development-wise too. I mean, look at Caulfield under Ducharme versus when St. Louis came. And when St. Louis became the coach, I think Caulfield's like in the top 5 in goals scored, like in that amount of games. Or something like that. Like it's actually like a ridiculous stat.
Say that again.
He was allowed to breathe.
When Ducharme got fired and Caulfield was allowed to play hockey under and develop under St. Louis, he's like number 5 in goals scored.
Yeah,
in like that amount of games. It's something ridiculous like that.
I think he's higher than that.
It's like I saw that stat. I was like, holy jumping Jesus Christ.
The thing is,
I couldn't believe it. I was like,
Caulfield was allowed to create. That's the thing about St. Louis. Go out there, create plays, create offense, right? It's not play the system. It's get out there, create, look around, see the ice surface, get other players involved.
Use your talent.
It's a team. It's not one guy. It's a bloody 5.
You get a brain in here. Use it. Don't be afraid to use it.
Well, those players that he knows can do that. He's giving and then the bottom 6 guys and the last pairing and stuff, they're under more of a system, but and like I was saying earlier, every time I hear a player like interviewed, they love that system. They love the coach, they love the staff, and they love the system. And I don't think it's just
it's not a one-man unit. It's not the first line does all the scoring, the second line plays defense. It's going to it has been like that.
But that's what they're changing.
It's changing as the talent comes in. As the talent comes in, it's going to change.
Things are going to change. It's going to be a team game where it's not going to be just one line scores, one line defends, and then you got 2 lines of grind. And that's where the NHL is at right now. You got one line that scores, except for a couple of teams. You got one line that scores, and then you got another line that defends, and then 2 lines that just kind of go out there and grind.
It's going to be a beautiful
teams that have the past few teams that have won the cup. Vegas, I'm pretty sure everybody on that team did everything. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't just like you said. It wasn't one line did everything was spread out. Tampa both years.
You kind of can't win.
Every single one of those lines was insane.
You can't win a team sport consistently when you're not playing a team in a team way, right? So, and this is what does
Brendan Shanahan know that? I don't think he knows that yet. I don't think anybody should tell him either.
Do you want me to play the song? I'll play you the song so you'll hear it.
You just screwed up, Matt. You just told Shanahan what to change.
It's all right. He
hasn't listened.
I don't think he watched. I don't think he's going to listen to me anyway.
They're in their own world over there. They keep making bad move after bad move. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so far behind. And I think
I did see something I wanted to address
tonight.
Oh, here it is.
We've been very entertaining. So, hey, wait, very important. BL, this is a very important topic for me. What did you think? Whoa. BL, tell me more. I missed it. Is it out already? I did not get it. This is very important. So let me know when did I miss this?
What is that?
My favorite show of all time. They're doing a second version of it, Justified. And he's saying it came out. He's asking me how I liked it. I didn't even know it came out yet.
What's Justified?
Justified? You've never seen Justified?
No.
But when I first saw that comment, I thought BL was talking about the horse.
No. It's one of those shows where the two main characters are so perfectly cast that I don't think any other two actors could have done it.
Justified.
It's just so perfectly cast. It's called Justified. Timothy Olyphant.
Oh, I like Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, he's got a new show out other than this thing, but I was going to watch it. He's got a new show that I just saw out there just earlier. So I can't go in. It's on FX. So what's it called, though? What's the show actually called, BL? So I can go look it up.
Oh, I was going to look up Justified. What is it?
Justified, but this is a new. Watch Justified before you watch the new one.
I saw this.
His nose. Yes. I expect him fully to be cleared. Matt, do you know when it's happening?
I don't know. I just know that at some point after the draft, he is supposed to meet with Gary Bettman. But yeah, Logan Mailloux actually is, from what I've read from people around the London Knights, he's turned into one of their leaders. He's turned into one of their role models. I mean, he's done everything that's needed to be done. Like
I have not read a bad thing since it happened. It's not like, they're covering it up or whatever. It doesn't matter who comments on him. You hear positive things about Logan Mailloux.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't expect him.
And I think even he himself, when he came out and said he didn't want to be drafted, I think even that kind of told me, this kid really knows, like he messed up. Like he genuinely feels awful. Like he wants to figure out, when he figures out, figures out a way to make it right.
Boy that made a freaking mistake. Let it go.
Yeah,
that's all. It's exactly it. And it was overblown. It was overblown because they called it rape. Blah, blah. It's overblown.
It's way overblown. Exactly.
So you got to look it up. Hang on, I got to write something.
For Christ's sake, we've got situations
City
like
Primeval. Oh, you made my night.
Well, Hockey Canada, honestly, for one, that and from what I've heard, the end of this month, there a lot of teams in the league are bracing because it sounds like the names might come out at the end of the month. The investigation might come out, yeah. And there are two separate incidents. There's the one that we all know about, but there's another, that same team, there was another incident of gang.
Oh, nice.
So there's two incidents that are being investigated. So, and I mean, I'm sure we've all looked at that roster. There's a lot of names on there that, if their names are implicated,
we've got Makar on that list, Matt.
Yes, there's some.
I mean, Makar, Drake Matheson, Jordan Kyrou.
There's some NHLers that are going to be losing their NHL career.
Yeah, a lot of names on that list.
BL, I got the name. Thank
Jake
you
Bean,
so much,
I think.
man. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, Makar is the biggest name on there, but
yeah,
there's a bunch of other names. I mean, like
there's
Drake Batherson. If the Senators lose Drake Batherson, they are screwed.
There's a lot of names. There's a lot of names on there. Good players.
They are in trouble.
It's scary what's coming out.
I kind of hope it ends up being some of the smaller names.
I'd hate to see. Yeah,
I hope it turns out to be.
I mean, we know something happened.
It just.
I just hope it's not somebody that a lot of people are going to be disappointed in. Jason TL8. By the way, I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you out there. It was definitely Formanton, Comtois, and Comtois from what he has heard.
I've heard Drake Batherson's name there's a more than like 80% chance his name is in there too.
Mike McLeod from New Jersey too. I've heard
there's a leaked photo from the lobby of the hotel room the night that the incident that started all of this happened, and I think Batherson was in it. That's why I've heard
you know what? Quinn
There's a good chance his name's going to be in the investigation. Again, I don't know that for fact, but there's a photo that was leaked and he was in it. Of the lobby on the night.
Quinn's right. It's all speculation. Right now, it's all speculation.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And you know what?
Not to speculate on stuff like that.
You don't want to damage someone's reputation for nothing.
Not at all.
So
when I say names,
first to throw out names.
I'm only saying the name that I've heard it a bunch of times. So for me, when I'm going to hear who it was, that's a name that I'm expecting to hear, but it doesn't mean I'm right at all. 100%.
No, and I'm just like I said, I'm just going off of who's on that roster. Yeah, just the names on
there's some names that are going to come off the NHL.
It's all speculation. We don't know anything until the investigation comes out,
and it'll probably take a while. But what are they going to?
I've heard the end of the month. Like teams are bracing for suspensions, all that sort of thing.
You think they'd want before the NHL season starts to have this known so that they can not have guys playing who shouldn't be, right? You'd think they'd want that quickly done.
Whoo, Renegade man, ouch. Mitchell Miller.
Yeah, no, Mailloux is not a Mitchell Miller.
Whoa.
No. God, no. And again, I'm not condoning what Logan Mailloux did at all. I don't condone any of that.
Of course we're not.
But when you take what he did and you try to compare that to what Mitchell Miller did, or what's going on with Hockey Canada,
it's not even.
It's nothing. It's literally nothing.
Country. It's not
nothing.
Country.
No, but I mean.
Well, Matt, you can't say that it's not.
Well, it's not. But it's not.
I know what you mean. I know
what
you
mean.
Yeah.
It's not even close to being the same.
Yeah. Not even close.
But
it's not a sexual crime. What he did was not a sexual crime.
No
crime.
But at the end of the day, we also got to be we got to be careful with the words we choose, right?
Right. No, 1,000%. And like I said, I don't condone any of that.
It's not nothing, but at the same time, what Mailloux did was what I read. Young kid, didn't know any better, messed up.
He showed a picture he shouldn't have. He showed a picture he shouldn't have. That's what he did.
And haven't we done worse? I know I have. So, shut the front door. Let it go.
That's why I know he can easily rehabilitate from this, because it's not a bad, what he did was not a bad crime. Sure, It's not something you should do, but it's not what people made it out to be.
No.
It was a 17-year-old boy.
That was probably honest to me. I think he was just bragging to his teammates or something like that. He shouldn't have done it.
Right.
But
I'm going to tell you something. If that happens in the U.S., if what happens in the U.S. right now, what would happen was the girl would get problems because of the woke, right? Yeah. Because he was 17, she was 18. Right? I'm not saying that's the right thing at all. But I'm saying that's probably what would happen. It would be turned around even now, today would even be turned around if it happened here. But it happened in Sweden, and they did the right thing. They charged him with a crime.
Yeah, I think he only got fined $1,000, and I think that was it.
Yeah, something like that. And he had to make an apology. Which maybe even at the time, I don't think he made a good enough apology. But
I from what I've heard, he has since then. He has, and he's done everything required of him. Like I said, everything that I've read from everybody around the London Knights of nothing but praise for him, and all the good that he's done to rehabilitate himself, his image.
I haven't heard one person say the opposite, and I've read a lot of stuff about this. And I haven't heard one person say the opposite of that. He's doing bad and he's doing it. Not one. Yeah. Not one.
He's been a model. There's no smoke. Player.
Right. There's no smoke. There's no fire over there. Like that's what I'm saying.
David,
leave them kids alone. Yeah. We did. We actually thought about it and we decided not to talk about that subject anymore. We're talking about something different.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that we're at the 2-hour mark. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Sorry to have to leave with so many people in the room, but running a little late.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
We got 48 watching and we only got 22 likes. Come on, people.
We didn't ask for it once. We didn't once ask. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not a problem. But on your way out, please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And if you like that. So that'll be it for tonight. But I'll be back on Wednesday. I don't think, unless something comes up in between, probably just be Wednesday. And hopefully I'll have a video out in between then. So I don't know. But enjoy the night. I hope you enjoyed the show. And like I said, give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't and you like what you saw, please give us a subscribe down there. And I think that's it. So thank you, Pete, for joining us. It was a lot of fun. Conversation was great. Matt wasn't expecting you tonight, but it was
Matt
a great
showed
show.
up because I was here.
Yeah, I know he doesn't like when I'm here. He doesn't like being alone with me.
I honestly, because I'm home tonight, I was gonna pop on, and I didn't realize the time. I opened YouTube. So I forget what I was probably gonna go watch.
Matt, stop making the excuses. You're on because I'm here.
Well, I saw you here, and I was like, okay, now I really gotta go. No, I popped YouTube open.
A little bromance going on over here.
I went, oh my God, they're on. Let me pop in because I was sitting right here.
BL, I don't have I do and I don't, but no, we're 2 hours in. I usually don't go past 90 minutes, but it is Saturday, so. But 2 hours. Another reason is anybody watching on a rewatch, they're not interested to rewatch. It's a good show to rewatch if you're into the Talking Habs stuff. It gets like it's too much. So that's another reason. And I'm tired. I'm tired and it's hot and I've had my lights on and I want to go now.
I gotta use the washroom. I've been drinking a lot of tequila.
There you go. All right. So thanks guys for being here. Like I said, thanks everybody out there for taking part. I apologize that we didn't get to too much of the comments, but it happens when there's more than one or more than two people here. It does tend to get like that. So there you go. So I'll see you on Wednesday, and if there's any news that pops up, I'll bring it to you via a video. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, and thanks for being here. Till next time, stay safe. Peace out and ciao, everybody.
Bye, BL.
Joe says lunch now. She's in Australia. Bye, Joe. Ciao, everybody.